Today I want to talk about the Karandavyuha Sutra. The Karandavyuha Sutra is one of the major Mahayana Sutras that is devoted completely to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. It's from where the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum first appears. So you know it's a special sutra. It attempts to assimilate all of the Brahmanical deities at one go by establishing Avalokiteshvara as the progenitor of those deities. So I've often said that Avalokiteshvara is something like Mahavishnu, but even in a higher concept, represents the first emanation of the deity Amitabha, which is similar to the Gaudiya Vaishnava conception of Krishna emanating Balaram, and Balaram becoming Mahavishnu. So this text establishes Avalokiteshvara as the progenitor of these Brahminical deities. And where did I read that there's a story about this sutra that... Oh, I think it was on Wikipedia. Let me see if I can bring up the Wikipedia page. There's a story about this sutra. According to Tibetan legendary tradition, the text of the Karandavyuha Sutra arrived in a casket from the sky onto the roof of the palace of the 28th king of Tibet, La Totori Nyatsen, who died in 650 of the Common Era in southern Tibet. This coincides with one version of the dating of the Karandavyuha Sutra, somewhere in the 4th or perhaps 5th century. However, it seems more likely that the sutra originated in Kashmir. Either way, the tradition has it that the sutra arrived from the sky. And it says here also that the sutra introduces the Buddhist mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, which is said to lead to liberation, moksha, and eventual Buddhahood. Studholm sees this famous mantra as being a declarative aspiration, possibly meaning I in the jewel lotus, with the jewel lotus a reference to birth in the lotus made of jewels in the Buddhist paradise of Shukavati, of Buddha Amitabha. The mantra is at the very heart of Avalokiteshvara, the supreme Buddha of compassion, and can usher in awakening. Studholm writes, Om Mani Padme Hum is both the Paramahridaya, innermost heart of Avalokiteshvara. It is also a Mahavidya, a mantra capable of bringing about great knowledge of enlightenment itself. Avalokiteshvara himself is linked in the versified version of the sutra to the first Buddha, the Adi Buddha, who is Svayambhu, self-existent, not born from anything or anyone. Studholm comments, Avalokiteshvara himself, the verse added, is an emanation of the Adi Buddha, or primordial Buddha, a term that is explicitly said to be synonymous with Svayambhu and Adinata, primordial Lord. Right, so this text starts with Nidan Eva Maya Shrutam, thus it was heard by me, the Buddha residing at Shravatsi in the garden of Anathapindaka, along with the host of bodhisattvas and bhikshus. The deities of the heavenly realms are shown to attend the Buddha's servant, headed by Narayan and Shiva. Shiva himself is portrayed as attending the Buddha's servant. In the 4th chapter of the sutra on the creation of moon and others, the Buddha explains how Avalokiteshvara assumes the form of Shrishtikarta Lokeshvara to emanate all the Brahminical deities from his body. Specifically, Buddha says that Shiva was born from Avalokiteshvara's forehead. After emanating of Shiva from his body, Avalokiteshvara tells Maheshvara that during the Kali Yuga, he will appear in a degenerate realm and will be called the primordial god, Adideva, the creator and author of the world. The beings in this realm at that time will be deprived of the path to awakening, and talk among those foolish common people will be, it is said that space is his linga and earth is his pedestal. He is the ground of all and is called linga because all beings dissolve into him. The Shaivite doctrine is directly rebuked here. Those who worship Shiva as the creator deity are criticized as foolish common people. Pritagyana. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, along with the Vaishnav, these people also rebuke those who worship Shiva as the supreme deity. Interesting. So this person goes on to say that the attributes of Harihara or Shankara and Narayan seems to have been overlaid on Avalokiteshvara. So it seems that attributes of both Vishnu and Shiva combined are found in Avalokiteshvara. So I'm going to read a little bit from the actual text, the Karandavyuha Sutra. Thus I have heard, at one time the Bhagavan was in the garden of the benefactor of orphans and the solitary in Jeta Grove in Shravatsi state, accompanied by 250 great bhikshus, monks, and 80 Koti Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, whose names are Vajrapani, the diamond hand, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, wisdom insight Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Vrajra Sensei, diamond army, Vajrasena, and it goes on, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, secret store Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Akasha Garbha, in other words, space womb, Bodhisattva Mahasattva, or space store, it says, sun store Bodhisattva Mahasattva, immovable Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Ratnapani, treasure hand Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Samantabhadra, universal goodness Bodhisattva Mahasattva, achievement of reality and eternity Bodhisattva Mahasattva, eliminate obstructions Sarva Nivaranishkamin Bodhisattva Mahasattva, great diligence and bravery Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Vaishya Raja, medicine king Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, contemplator of the world sounds Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Vajradhara, Vajra holding Bodhisattva Mahasattva, ocean wisdom Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Dharma upholding Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and so on. At that time, there were also many gods of the 32 heavens, led by Maheshvara, great unrestricted God, and Narayan came to join the congregation. They are Shakra, Devanam, Indra, the god of heavens, great Brahma, the lord of the Saha world, the god of the sun, the god of the moon, the god of the wind, the god of water, and so on. There were also hundreds of thousands of dragon kings, hundreds of thousands of Gandharvas, hundreds of thousands of Kinnara kings, hundreds of thousands of goddesses, hundreds of thousands of daughters of dragon kings, hundreds of thousands of Gandharvas, hundreds of thousands of Kinnara girls, hundreds of thousands of laymen and laywomen. There were innumerable monks and laypersons, hundreds of thousands of non-Buddhists such as Jains, and so on came to join the congregation. So they're trying to, and here's really good. If you can contemplate and reflect on the vibe that these kind of sutras are giving when they're describing all of these different types of gods and emanations, they're trying to give you a feel for the suchness. The Buddha is called, or the avatar, anyone who comes from that realm is called Tathagata, someone who comes from the realm of suchness. And in that realm, you realize and take part in a dynamic scene. It's not just some, formless. There are realms which are formless like that according to the Buddhist cosmology. But the eternal reality is not, empty, but it has tattva, suchness. Each thing as such. Lotus like this, the tree is like this, the person is like this, the Gandharva is like this, the Deva is like this, the Asura is like this. It's a realization of suchness in the depth of the vision of the Buddha eye. So he's saying also that all this to indicate that Buddha, as the God of wisdom and enlightenment, is central to every single god, demigod, people, asura, etc. Even up to Narayan and Shiva. Enlightenment is central to every single thing. The enlightened, awake mind is central to every single thing. That's the meaning of what is being said. At that time, a great brilliant light was emitted from the great Avicii hell. The light fully illumined the Jeta Grove garden and made the garden completely purified. Thereupon the subtle and perfect columns adorned with heavenly Mani treasures appeared, and the huge buildings adorned with gold and treasures appeared. In the buildings there were some gold rooms with silver doors, some silver room with gold doors, some rooms made of interlaced gold and silver with doors made of interlaced gold and silver. There were also some precious sublime palaces made of interlaced gold and silver, columns, etc., silver palaces adorned with myriads of heavenly treasures. On the trees in the Jeta Grove, myriad of heavenly treasures appeared. Furthermore, golden kalpataru trees with silver leaves adorned myriad of treasures, the wish-fulfilling trees, etc. Wonderful beds, flowers, silk belts, pearl necklaces hanging over the trees like nets. Furthermore, in the garden of the Jeta Grove, the steps of the doors and pavilions became made of diamonds, and wonderful treasures. The pavilions were adorned with countless extraordinary, wonderful colored silk, pearls, and precious necklaces. In the garden, hundreds of thousands of superior, wonderful, precious pools also appeared, with full of waters of the 8 merits and virtues. In the pools there were also plenty of various superior perfect flowers, which are called Utpala flowers, Kumud flowers, Pundarik flowers, Mandara flowers, Mahamandara flowers, Udumbara flowers, etc. There are superior, wonderful flowering trees, Champaka, Kalava, Patala, wonderful liberation, flowering trees. These flowering trees is very pleasing. When such a rare, pure, and wonderful sublime scene was manifested in the Jeta Grove garden, in the midst of the congregation, eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva Mahasattva arose from his seat, uncovered his right shoulder, placed his right knee on the ground, joined his palms respectfully, looked at the face of the Bhagavan, that means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with reverence, and said to the Buddha, it also means the Blessed One, endowed with the 6 opulences. Rare Bhagavan, now I have a question in my mind and wish that the Bhagavan can allow me to ask. Bhagavan, now there is a great brilliant light in this place. Where did it come from? For what cause and relationship did this rare scene appear? The Bhagavan then told, eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, all of you should listen attentively, and I'm going to analyze and expound for you. This great brilliant light is caused by Arya. Here this person is called an Aryan, an Arya, and it indicates a sage, Arya Avalokitesvara, Bodhisattva Mahasattva. because he had just entered into great Avicii hell to rescue all sentient beings who were suffering from extreme afflictions and ferry them to the shore of liberation. Having saved those sentient beings, he then entered into a big city to rescue and ferry all the hungry ghosts who were suffering there. Eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva Mahasattva then went on to ask the Buddha, Bhagavan, the great Avicii hell is surrounded by an iron wall, and its ground is also made of iron. There is no gap on the wall around it. The violent fires are constantly burning fiercely and producing smoke and flames. In such a hell of evil destiny, there was a huge cauldron with boiling water in it. Hundreds of thousands of kotis of nayutas of sentient beings were all thrown into the cauldron, just like beans being cooked in a boiler. While the water is boiling, they float up and down and uninterruptedly, and then they will be cooked into mashes. The sentient beings in Avicii hell suffer from such afflictions. Bhagavan, so what method did Arya Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva use to enter into it? The Bhagavan then told eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Virtuous man, for example, a wheel-turning sage king can enter into the heavenly Mani treasure's garden. Likewise, when Arya Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva was entering into the great Avicii hell, nothing can obstruct his body. At that time, all the torturing instruments in Avicii hell cannot hurt the Bodhisattva Mahasattva's body. The violent fire were all quenched and became refreshingly cool ponds. At that time, the Yama jailers of the hell became more astonished than ever before and thought, why did this place suddenly transform into such an unusual scene? At that moment, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva had broken into the hell, destroyed the cauldron, and quenched the violent fire. The huge fire pits became precious pools, with some lotuses as large as cartwheels in them. Having seen these events, the Yama jailers gathered all the punishment instruments, including staves, bows, swords, hammers, sticks, arrows, iron wheels, three-blade forks, etc., and went to where the Yama king was. Having reached there, they said, O great king, you must now know why our territory of karma retribution suddenly vanished completely. The Yama king then said, What? How come your territory of karma retributions completely vanished? The jailers said to the Yama king, the great Avicii hell suddenly became refreshingly cool, and when that was happening, a beautiful and sublime person with heavenly wonderful treasures wearing on his hair bun and precious crowns adorning his body had entered into the hell, destroyed the cauldron, and made the fire pits become pools in which lotuses are as large as cartwheels. Yama King then began to think carefully. Which heavenly being is so powerful? Is he Maheshvara, Narayana, or whoever? The transformation that he made to the hell is so unimaginable. Was it done by the majestic power of a vigorous 10-headed Raksha? Thereupon the Yama King used his heavenly eye, supernatural force, to search in the heavens. After searching in the heavens, he looked into Avicii hell and saw Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva. Having seen that, he went quickly to where Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva was. After reaching there, he bowed at the feet of the Bodhisattva and sincerely glorified the Bodhisattva with a verse. Homage to the Lotus King, the great compassionate Avalokiteshvara, the greatly unrestricted and auspicious one, who can grant wishes for sentient beings, and has great majestic sacrosanct powers to tame and subdue the extreme atrocities. You are the bright lamp for the dark destinies, and make all those who see you have no fear. You manifest hundreds or thousands of arms, so many as your eyes, and have fully 11 faces. Your wisdom is as vast as the 4 great oceans. You treasure the subtle and wonderful dharmas for saving all sentient beings, including tortoises, fish, aquatic animals, and so on. Your uppermost wisdom is like a mountain. You give treasures to all living beings. You are the uppermost auspicious one, and have full of blessings, wisdom, and sublime. When you enter into Avicii hell, it becomes a refreshingly cool place. All heavenly beings should make offerings to you and bow at your feet, the one who bestows with no fear. You expound the 6 paramitas and constantly keep the torch of Dharma burning. Your Dharma eyes are brighter than the sun, and appearance is beautiful, sublime, and wonderful. Your body is like a golden mountain, and your wonderful stomach is like a deep Dharma ocean. The true thus is accordant with your mind, and the wonderful virtues appear in your mouth, having accumulated innumerable hundreds of thousands of samadhis and immeasurable joy. You are beautiful and sublime. You are the uppermost immortal one. Within the horrific evil destinies, you liberate all living beings from shackles and give alms to them with no fear. The relatives surrounding you can always have their wishes fulfilled, like having money pearls. You demolish the city of the hungry ghost and open the way to quietness. You cure the illnesses of the worlds like a cover protecting streamers. Besides your armpits, there are 2 dragons, Nanda and Upananda. Holding in your hands, there is an infallible lasso. Manifesting immeasurable majesties and virtues, you can destroy the horrors of the 3 realms under the power of Diamond Hand. Yakshas, Rakshas, Bhutas, Vitanizini, Kumbhandas, and Apshamara are all frightened. With the Utpala flower-like eyes, you are the Lord of enlightenment, and who bestows with no fear, and liberate all living beings from myriad of afflictions, entering into the samadhis as many atoms in the universe. You reveal myriads of states for all living beings in all the evil destinies to liberate them all and make them all achieve the Bodhi way. Having made offerings to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva by myriads of glorifications, Yama King circumambulated the Bodhisattva 3 times and then went back to his residence. At that time, eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva asked the Buddha again. Bhagawan, did that of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva come to join this congregation after saving those living beings from suffering? The Buddha told eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, having left from the great Avicii hell, that of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva had then entered into the big city of the hungry ghost. Inside that city there were innumerable hundreds of thousands of hungry ghosts with fire flames spurting from their mouths. Their faces were withered and their bodies were scraggy, their hairs were unkempt, their body hairs were all sticking up, their stomachs were as large as a mountain, and their throats were as thin as a needle. When Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva reached that big city of hungry ghosts, all the flaming karma fire in the city suddenly quenched and the city became refreshingly cool. At that time, a ghost general who was guarding the city's gate with a huge body and 2 deep red eyes and a hot iron club holding in his hand aroused a merciful mind. From now on, I cannot guard this evil place. At that time, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva aroused the great compassionate heart. He issued forth rivers from each of his 10 fingertips, issued forth rivers from each of his toes, and issued forth big rivers from every pore on his body. The hungry ghosts then drank the water of those rivers. Having drunk the water, their throats became larger and their bodies and appearances became more perfect. Subsequently, they gained various delicious drinks and food. Then all of them ate their fill. Having gained these benefits and comfort, each of the hungry goats thought carefully, why can people in South Jambudweep often have a refreshingly cool and peace, can have refreshing, cool peace and happiness? Jambudweep, by the way, refers to our world. Why can people in South Jambudweep often have refreshing, cool peace and happiness? Oh, in that place there are virtuous persons who constantly respect, carry out filial piety, and sustain their parents. There are virtuous persons who are generous in giving and respectfully practice the teachings of good knowing advisors. They are wise and knowledgeable persons who constantly enjoy the great vehicle, that is the Bodhisattva path. There are virtuous persons who can practice the 8 sage path, the Noble Eightfold Path, right conduct, right action, etc. There are virtuous persons who can knock dharma drums, kanta. There are virtuous persons who can repair the damaged monasteries. And there are virtuous persons who can repair their damaged temples. There are virtuous persons who can offer, sustain, and respect Dharma masters. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of the Tathagatas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of the Bodhisattvas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of Pratyeka Buddhas. There are virtuous persons who can see the path of the Arhats. They thought, in South Jambudweep, there are so many cultivating events. At that time, from this Mahayana Sublime Treasury King Sutra, a delicate and wonderful sound uttered naturally. After these hungry ghosts heard that sound, although the body view of a self in the body that they were attaching to was as a huge mountain, that body view, together with their myriads of afflictions, was completely destroyed by the Vajra wisdom pestle, the diamond wisdom pestle of the lotus. Thereupon, all of them were reborn in utmost bliss world, that is Shukavati, the Amitabha Buddha's land, and became bodhisattvas with the name discretionary mouth. When Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva had saved those beings, he then went to the worlds of the other directions to save sentient beings and ferry them to the liberation. At that time, Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva asked the Buddha again, Bhagawan, do Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva come to this world to save and ferry sentient beings? The Bhagavan said, Virtuous man, the Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva is always saving and ferrying immeasurable hundreds of thousands of kotis of nayutas of sentient beings, and never rests. His great majestic powers surpass the Tathagatas. So just when they put in this word like Tathagata and get you thinking that this is the ultimate, they say, oh, here's something even beyond what you can even possibly consider, and that is the Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva asked, Bhagawan, why does Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva have such great majestic powers? The Buddha said, In past kalpas, there was a Buddha who appeared in the world whose name was Vipayasin, thus come one worthy of offerings, one of proper and pervasive knowledge, one perfect in clarity and practice, well gone one, knower of the secular world, unsurpassed one, taming and subduing hero, teachers of God and humans, Buddha, world-honored one. At that time I was a son named Wonderful Fragrance Mouth of a magnate's family. From that Buddha I have heard about a mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva then said, Bhagawan, what were the mighty and sacrosanct... So it says that from that Buddha he has heard about the power and merits and virtues. So even I thought he was going to say something like that Buddha became Avalokiteshvara, but this Buddha is just someone who he heard about, Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva, Mahasattva from. Eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva then said, Bhagawan, and it's interesting that this questioning is from eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva, because like here we are in the position of listening to it with obstructions, and this text attempts to eliminate those obstructions. So rightfully the questioner is named Eliminate Obstructions Bodhisattva. It kind of shows you for the holographic nature of Mahayana Buddhism and of reality itself, of course. Bhagavan then said, eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva then said, Bhagavan, what were the mighty sacrosanct powers, merits, and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva that you heard about? The Bhagavan said, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva gave birth to the sun and moon from his eyes, gave birth to the great unrestricted God, that is Maheshvara, Shiva, from his forehead, gave birth to the Brahma heaven God from his shoulder, gave birth to Narayana from his heart, gave birth to Narayana from his heart, gave birth to Narayana from his heart, gave birth to the great eloquence God, Sarasvati, from his teeth, gave birth to the god of wind from his mouth, gave birth to the god of earth from his navel. And let me show you a picture which corresponds with what I'm talking about. It's a picture of the so-called Srishtikarta Lokeshvara, who gave birth to all of these various deities. So you can see that's the Srishtikara. Let me see. I'm not sure how much of it that you can see here, but here, yeah. So now you can kind of see it there. This is the Srishtikara Bodhisattva. Here is Vishnu coming from his heart, etc. Lokeshvara, Shiva coming from his forehead, and above him is Amitabha. So we have this picture here of Avalokiteshvara emanating all of the Brahminical deities, Narayana from his heart. Srishtikarta Lokeshvara gave birth to the great eloquence god Sarasvati from his teeth. She's called Vakdevi, or knowledge, speech. Eloquence, I'm not sure of knowledge, but Vakdevi is definitely speech. That form of creation in the form of divine speech of Shabda Brahman is carried out in tandem with Vakdevi. Gave birth to the god of wind from his mouth, the god of earth from his navel, the god of water from his stomach. Having given birth to those gods from his body, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva said to the great unrestricted God, that is Shiva, at the Dharma-ending age in the future, in the realms of sentient beings, there will be some living beings attached to the erroneous views, saying that you are the great dominator from beginningless of time who can create all sentient beings. At that time, those living beings who have lost the way of Bodhi are ignorant and perplexed. They will say that the universe is a vast body, and the earth is his throne. All realms and sentient beings were born from this body. Virtuous man, after I heard about that from Vipyasin Tathagata, later there was another Buddha appeared in the world, whose name was Shikin, thus come one worthy of offerings, one of proper pervasive knowledge, one in perfect clarity and practice, well gone, one knower of the secular world, unsurpassed one, taming and subduing hero, teacher of gods and humans, Buddha, world-honored one, eliminate obstructions. At that time I was fearless, bestowing Bodhisattva Mahasattva. From that Buddha, I have also heard about the mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Eliminate obstructions, Bodhisattva said. Bhagavan, what were the mighty sacrosanct merits, powers, and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva that you heard about? At that time, the Buddha said, at that time in the congregation of Sikhin Tathagata, all gods, dragons, yakshas, asuras, garudas, mahorags, human and non-human beings had assembled. When the Bhagavan was about to speak the Dharma in the congregation, he emitted myriads of multicolored light, including green light, yellow light, orange light, white light, red light, spotty-colored light, golden light. The light universally illumined all the worlds of the 10 directions, and then returned, circumambulating the Buddha 3 times, and went into his mouth. At that time, a Bodhisattva Mahasattva in the congregation, whose name is Ratapani, treasure hand, arose from his seat, uncovered his right shoulder, placed his right knee on the ground, joined his palms respectfully, and said to the Bhagavan, for what cause and relationship did this holy scene appear? The Buddha said, virtuous man, in utmost bliss world there is a Bodhisattva Mahasattva named Avalokiteshvara. He is about to come here, so I manifest this holy scene. When Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva was about to come, myriads of wish-fulfilling trees, Kumuda flower trees, and Champaka flower trees appeared. Furthermore, there were varied flowers, precious pools, and trees also appeared. The sky rained down wonderful flowers, various jewels, manis, pearls, emeralds, spiral shells, jades, corals, and many other treasures. A lot of heavenly clothes rained down like masses of cloud. At that time, in the Cheta Grove, Antapindika garden, the 7 treasures also appeared. Their names are Gold Wheel Treasure, Elephant Treasure, Horse Treasure, Pearl Treasure, Goddess Treasure, Repository Mastering Treasure, Army Mastering Treasure. When those 7 treasures appeared, the ground became completely golden. And when Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva was departing from the utmost bliss world, the ground was quaking in 7 different ways. Ratapani Bodhisattva Mahasattva then asked the Bhagavan again, for what cause and relationship did this holy scene appear? The Buddha said, virtuous man, the Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva is coming to here, so this holy scene appeared. At that time, the sky also rained down comfortable, wonderful flowers and wonderful lotuses. Then Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva arrived with a golden, brilliant, 1,000-petaled lotus holding in his hand. He bowed at the feet of the Buddha, offered up the lotus to that Bhagavan, and said, infinite life Buddha told me to come here with this lotus. The Bhagavan then accepted the lotus and placed it on the left side. You notice when they bow before and they answer a question, they uncover their right shoulder and they bow on their right knee. And now when the Tathagata has accepted this flower, he places it at his left side. It has to do with the same reason why the sun is on our right eye and the moon is on our left eye. That Buddha said to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, why do you now manifest such sacrosanct power, sublime merits, and virtues? Avalokiteshvara said, I do it for the saving and ferrying of all sentient beings from the evil destinies, including the hungry ghost realms, the Avicii hell, the black rope hell, the hell of the repetition of painful life, the burning hell, the roasting hell, the cauldron hell, the icy water hell, etc. For all the living beings in those great hells, I will save them all and pull them from the evil destinies and make them achieve Anuttara Samyaka Sambodhi. When Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva finished saying that, he bowed at the feet of the Buddha and then suddenly disappeared like a flame vanishing into space. At that time, Ratapani Bodhisattva said, Bhagavan, now I have a question to ask the Tathagata. Please explain to me, what merits does Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva have so that he can manifest such holy power? The Buddha said, if anyone offers and sustains the Buddhas as many as Ganges river sands, with heavenly wonderful clothes, kashayas, foods, drinks, soups, medicine, seats, beds, etc., the blessing and virtues gained by that is equal to the blessing and virtues of one hair tip of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, for another example, suppose the great four continents are always raining. The rain continues for days and nights in all 12 months of the year. I can count the number of drops in the rain water one by one. But virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of all blessings and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Suppose the four great continents are always raining. The rain continues for days and nights in all 12 months in a year. I cannot count the number of drops of rainwater I can count the number of drops of rainwater one by one. For all the rain that continues for 365 days on all four continents, the Buddha could count every single drop of water one by one. But he could not finish speaking of the number of all of the blessings and virtues of Lokeshvar. Virtuous man, for another example, suppose there are four great oceans, each is 84,000 yojan in depth, in width, and in length. I can count the number of water drops of those four oceans one by one. But virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of blessings and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. For another example, virtuous man, for all the four-legged beings in the four great continents, such as sheep, lions, elephant, horses, tigers, wolves, bears, cows, I can count the number of hair of all of their bodies one by one. But virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of all blessings and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, take another example. If some person uses heavenly gold and treasures to make Tathagata statues as many as atoms in the universe, when he is done, he then makes all kinds of offerings for one day. I can fully count the number of blessings and virtues that he gains, but virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of blessings and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, for another example, I can count the number of leaves of all forests one by one, but I can never finish speaking the number of blessings and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Virtuous man, suppose all the men, women, boys, girls in the four continents have attained the fruitions of stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, arhat, pratika Buddha, and bodhi, then all those blessings and virtues are equal to the blessings and virtues of one hair tip of Avalokiteshvara. And the inclination by that is that if you had an entire planet of Buddhas, an entire planet of fully awakened and realized people, that would be like one hair tip on the head of this great universal world listener. The name of Avalokiteshvara indicates someone who listens to the suffering of everyone, who hears everything in contemplation. So, and arranges for numerous ways of liberating living beings, even as far as in every hell region. Ratnapani Bodhisattva said to the Bhagavan, I never heard or saw of any Buddha Tathagata who had such blessings and virtues. Bhagavan, as a Bodhisattva, how can Avalokiteshvara have such blessings and virtues? The Buddha said, Virtuous man, not only me in this realm, even if innumerable Tathagata, Arhant, Samyaka Sambuddhas, and other directions all got together in one place, they cannot finish speaking of the blessing and virtues of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. And I've heard it read before. A Japanese Buddhist monk said that all enlightenment is bestowed by Avalokiteshvara. He's like the ultimate consciousness bestowing God. Virtuous man, if anyone in this world can keep remembering the name of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, this person will be far away from the sufferings of birth, aging, illness, death, and transmigration. He will be reborn quickly in Sukhavati, the utmost bliss world, just like a goose king traveling by wind, and then personally see the infinite life, Tathagata, and hear wonderful dharmas, that is the Amitayus Buddha. Then this person will never suffer from transmigration, greed, anger, ignorance, aging, illness, death, or hunger. By the majestic power of Dharma, he will be born miraculously from a lotus instead of suffering from being born from a womb. He can always reside in that world and wait for the time that Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva have saved and ferried all sentient beings and liberated all of them so that the Bodhisattva's solid vows can be fulfilled. Then Ratnapani Bodhisattva asked the Bhagavan, when will this Avalokiteshvara have saved and ferried all sentient beings and liberated all of them so that his solid vows can be fulfilled? The Bhagavan said, there are infinite sentient beings. They constantly suffer from birth, death, and transmigration and have no rest. In order to save and ferry those sentient beings and make them achieve the Bodhi way, this Avalokiteshvara manifests different incarnations and speaks dharmas for different types of sentient beings. Bodhi means awakened mind, by the way. For those who should be ferried to the shores of liberation through the body of a Buddha, he appears in the body of a Buddha and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried to the body of a Bodhisattva, he appears in the body of a Bodhisattva and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried to the body of a Pratyeka Buddha, he appears in the body of a Pratyeka Buddha and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried through the body of Maheshvara, he appears in the Maheshvara body and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of Narayana, he appears in Narayana and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of the Brahma God, he appears in the Brahma God and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of Shakra Devanam Indra, he appears in Indra's body and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of the god of the moon, he appears in the body of Chandra and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of the god of fire, he appears in the body of the god of fire and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of the god of water, he appears in the body of the god of water and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of the god of wind, he appears in such and speaks dharmas for them. For those who should be ferried in the body of a dragon, etc., the body of a Vinayaka, the body of a Yaksha, the body of a knowledgeable heavenly king, in other words, Vaishravan. For those who should be ferried in the body of a human king, the body of an officer, the body of the parents, he appears in the parents' body and speaks dharmas for them. Virtuous man, in such manners, according to how the sentient beings could be ferried to liberation, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva manifests various incarnations and speaks dharmas for them to save all sentient beings and make them achieve the state of the Tathagata's nirvana. Then Ratapani Bodhisattva said to Bhagavan, I never heard of such rare and unimaginable things. Bhagavan, the abilities of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva are really unimaginable and unprecedented. The Buddha said, Virtuous man, in a diamond cave in the southern continent of Jambudvip, there are immeasurable hundreds of thousands of millions of kotis of nayutas of asuras. Virtuous man, in that place Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva appeared in an asura body and spoke this Mahayana Sublime Treasure King Sutra for those asuras. When those asuras heard this sutra, they all aroused the merciful heart. They supported the feet of Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva with their palms and listened to the correct dharma, and all gained the dharma joy. If anyone can hear this Sutra King also read it and recite it, then if this person has any of the 5 heinous sins, those sins will all be eliminated. When he is about to die, there will be 12 Tathagatas who come to receive him, saying, Virtuous man, you need not fear, because you have heard the Mahayana Sublime Treasure King Sutra. And then will be revealed the path to the utmost bliss world, Shukavati, in which there are subtle and wonderful covers, heavenly crowns, ear ornaments, superior wonderful clothes, etc. When such a scene appears, he will surely be reborn in the utmost bliss world upon his death. So Ratapani Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, the great matchless one, can also appear in an asura's body, and make the asuras reach the place of nirvana. At that time, Ratapani Bodhisattva bowed to the feet of Bhagavan, with his head touching the ground, and then withdrew. That's the end of chapter 1 of this sutra. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Homage to that supreme awakened mind of compassion, that merciful, compassion bestowing, wish fulfilling Mani jewel, who emanates all of the deities from his body, which are like the various parts of his body. Homage to that Lokeshvar. Homage to Adi Buddha. Om Mani Padme Hum.